Hello, everyone. Happy June. Welcome back to the High Vibe Home podcast. I'm your host, Nixie Marie. Super excited to be back with you all once again for another month of all things holistic living. We've got a lot to go over today. June kicks off the exciting summer months for us over here. I just got back to my home in Topanga, back in LA, and it's so weird because it's so gloomy and June gloom energy and all of those things. So I'm kind of enjoying that strangeness because I've been in Mexico for the last 8 months, and that means it's been sunny nonstop. So it's been very hot. It's a good change up. It's nice to have the cooler temperatures. Got candles lit, incense burning. My home feels good. I'm ready to rock and roll. So, happy June, everyone. We are here. We've arrived, and it's a big month for the shifts and the seasons. We have some very exciting things for us on the horizon. We've got some big factors coming into play with the summer solstice on June 21st. So I want to talk about the transition that we're making from the spring energy, which literally felt like it went by. I mean, it did go by so fast. Time is moving. I keep saying it like this, such lightning speed. And we are now entering summer in a couple weeks here. So by now, you should have definitely been able to get some spring cleaning done, like deep cleaning, going through the deeper cobwebs, getting underneath things, decluttering, and really creating a space for your expansion that is coming. We are actually going to be entering the yang season. So this is the masculine, the fire element, which is ruling the summer solstice and this energy starting June 21st. So there's a lot of things at play here when it comes to power, expansion, and action. And I want you to actually use those three words as you enter the summer months, because power, expansion, and action are exactly what rules the fire element. It's what rules the yang qualities. And it also is connected to when it comes to the Chinese medicine and how everything connects back to our internal organs, or when we're looking at studying Qigong and how everything comes back to the inner space. The fire element is connected to the heart and the small intestine. So we really want to be following our heart. We want to be opening our heart. We want to be expressing ourselves in a way that is really being heard in our heart space, and listening to the heart, tuning into the heart, feeling what our heart desires. And when we tap into that space, this is where power, expansion, and action can become transformed into a much more intentional space, because a lot of times we take action based on our thoughts or our mind or even our fears, right? We take action based on things that aren't actually coming from the heart space. We just take action thinking of the subconscious ways that are actually, they rule our day-to-day life. So as we move into summer, and this is sort of that time where vacations, we get to, enjoy this time of play. A lot of that yang energy also invites playfulness. I always think, I'm actually looking at the candle that's sort of dancing in front of me with a flame. And I do feel that the fire energy has so much playfulness, because it you can dance with it. You can dance with the fire. You can, there's so much that we used to, or even now today, when we work with the fire medicine or we're in ceremony with fire, we dance with fire. There's fire rituals all over the world, and indigenous cultures, we had fire ceremonies to dance and play and move our bodies and get into this state of flow where something else takes over. So this summer, I do want to invite you into that space to play that playfulness, to play with the fire, to play with your expansion, and to remember to come from that heart space and pay attention to the heart. we're coming from the wood element, which was all about the liver and the gallbladder. So if you haven't yet taken a couple days or weeks to really detox that liver and that gallbladder and listen to what it is that your liver needs, then now is a perfect time to do so. We still have a couple weeks until summer solstice, but once we move into the summer solstice, we want to be paying more attention to the heart and that small intestine. And when it comes to the heart, we think of love. We think of, what do you think of? I want to actually ask you that. What do you think of when you think of your heart? What does your heart tell you? What does your heart speak to you? And I always think of the heart being this vessel of love. And when we speak from our heart space, when we move through our heart space, we have the capacity to hold so much more compassion and also self-love for ourselves and others. So this is sort of that ruling theme. I know a lot of us are kind of wondering when the chaos or this heavy energy, and we've got a lot of still this eclipse. There's a lot of things going on in the astral realms, right? This Friday we've got a full moon in Sagittarius, so Sagittarius myself, where's all my Sages at, and which means that we are going to kind of have this desire to travel. You know me, I'm a traveling nomad so much of the time, and it's funny because now going into summer, I'm actually feeling really called to just pause for a minute and land and be somewhere just to recalibrate and refresh. And every time, I do come back after my travels, there's an integration period that's required. So be with where you're at. The Sagittarius is season and full moon that's coming in during this Gemini season is a really big invitation to focus on where you need to be. Where are you pointing your arrow right now? Are you in a state or a cycle where you're actually not even sure which direction you want to point your arrow? Do you need a minute to pause and wait till you find your target? Are you in that state of pause right now where, if you are the archer and you're pulling back your arrow, are you in that state of pause? Or are you ready to aim and shoot? And so be with where you are. That is also it's like perfect timing, because as we welcome the summer solstice, that energy of action and being able to shoot that arrow is what is all about summer. It's about taking action, being inspired, getting into your creative flow, allowing yourself to really be in inspired action, and expand yourself at the seat of your power. And when it comes to the chi and everything that's going on, this is the chi forecast. This is the vibe, you guys. The vibe of June is bringing in all of these energies so that we can anchor them into our heart space and recognize that we have the ability and the capacity to love more than we give ourselves credit. And I mean even self-love, love to others, love to ourselves. So be more gentle to yourself if you have not been in the last, the spring seasons. Once the light starts to return, I notice, especially with the fire element that's coming in, we can easily get burnt out as well. We can easily start to feel that monkey mind going off very loud. So this is the balancing act, the feng shui elements of that, the yin and the yang, the being able to balance it out and not be too much in that yang energy that's coming in. We want to balance it with yin. So because there's going to be a natural cycle, a natural energy of that yang energy, then we want to make sure we're actually bringing in yin on the day-to-day, such as meditation, yoga, something that brings us into the feminine so that we aren't too much in that masculine state of action, right? So that's where the dance of balance and living in harmony and being able to really understand what the lifestyle really that comes with living this lifestyle of feng shui, of being connected to the inner and the outer, aligning your day to day so that there's yang energy, there's yin energy, and that there's there's a way for you to balance both, and I think that it really starts with the morning, because the morning is actually the yang and the evening is the yin. And so when we start our morning with action, and it could be action that is slow, it could be action that is fast, but when we start our mornings with action that have action backed by what we want to experience throughout the day. As an example, if we start our morning with action that is right on the phone, and we are looking at social media right when we wake up, I noticed such a huge shift in my day, and I'm sure you notice this too, that if I start my day with this, the whole rest of my day I'll notice I'm on my phone at least 50% more than I would be had I not had started my day with my phone. So I have a practice of keeping my phone outside of my room when I sleep. I actually don't even set alarms anymore. I have 2 cats now. I've got one little kitty on me right now. So we don't need alarms. We get woken up by the kittens. So, it's been a blessing to be able to not have to set an alarm, but we naturally, pretty much, my husband and I get up around like 6:37, and we do our morning ritual, which sort of changes all the time. But when it comes to rising and waking up, I just notice the difference in how I start my day. It tells me how I'm gonna, like, how the rest of the day is gonna go. So this might be a good time for you to reevaluate your morning ritual. And the biggest thing that I find that helps us with this is how our environment, when we come back to our spaces, our homes, our external reality, how this is actually going to support us in focusing on these actions, or the expansion that we're aiming for during this transition into the summer solstice. So when it comes to the Bagua, and you guys, I'm really excited to share that I created a free PDF guide on how to work with the Bagua map. I got a lot of questions about this. I always get questions about the Bagua map. And if you are new to Feng Shui, you're learning how to implement all of this into your space, you can now download the free Bagua map guide. I will put the link in the show notes, of course. And in the summer energies and the solstice that we're stepping into, the summer season rules the fame and reputation area. So in the Bagua system, there's a gua, or a section or area, whatever you want to call it, but in Feng Shui terms, it's the gua. And each of these sections are defined by the 8 core areas of our life. So we have this south area being the highlight this summer. And this always, every single year, we've got every single season, we've got a ruling gua, a ruling area, and also a theme around what is connected to that gua. So our theme is fame and reputation. So I want you to think about that in terms of, maybe you're not someone who is really focused on your fame, but our reputation, like how you want to be seen in the world and to others. Perhaps you want to be seen as kind or gentle or loving and giving. This is what we really want to be focusing on this summer. So I think these are things that we don't really think about too much. Let's be honest, I think half the world wants to be famous. So if you're part of that, this is a great time to focus on your South Gua and enhance that area so that you can become famous. But in this world, fame is so different. We have fame in all these little areas, whereas, back in the day, you could really only be famous for a few things, like writing a book, or being an actress or an actor, or being a famous thought leader, in a sense of like really changing history, like those history change makers. But today there's all these little micro communities where you can be well known or famous, even on Instagram, in these little areas. So if there's something that really calls to your heart, I kind of look at fame like this. I kind of see it as, the more you master your craft, the more, I don't even want to use the word famous, but the more well-known you become, because you become a master and you become someone who people want to look up to, right? You become someone who has influence in the area in which you've studied or mastered. And so for me, like, I'm on a path of self-mastery and mastery of feng shui and mastery of spaces and energy. And prior to this chapter, and I don't believe, actually someone asked me the other day, like, are you a feng shui master? Would you call yourself that? And I would say not yet. I would love to say I'm on the journey of that, because I believe you have to spend, there's even, I think it's like how to become a master. Let's look this up. I think there's a certain number of time or things that you need to put in. Okay, so it's 10,000 hours to really become an expert or master at something, or even like 20,000 hours. And my journey in this, I mean, maybe it's been that long, but to me, like, I started sewing when I was 12 years old, and I've been sewing since. So, and I went to design school to even learn how to sew more. So to me, I'm a master at sewing. Is there room for me to learn more? Of course, absolutely. The master always knows that they're a student first. So when it comes to mastery and you finding your own mastery, I think this is a big theme when it comes to, your reputation, your fame, and the South Gua, this area of your home. This gets to be your focus. So think of the things that you are working towards at becoming a master at, whether that be a marketing career, Reiki, meditation, yoga, conscious word choices. I mean, you name it. There's so many areas of mastery, or it's maybe just self-mastery. I love the path of self-mastery because it really brings us to a wide arrangement of ways that we can master thyself, right? And it's a journey. It's not an easy one, that's for sure. But this is where that self gua, that self area in your home actually be enhanced or focused on when it comes to your fame, reputation, and what you're mastering in your life. So let's look to that south. And how you do that is by pulling out a compass, looking at where the south area is in your home. And then you're going to start to notice, okay, what's here right now? Does it actually connect to how I want to be seen in the world? And some examples of that could be, let's say your mastery is meditation and you're really learning to master meditation right now. Then do you have things in the South that reflect your mastery and your path to meditation? You could even put a meditation room here. You could put an art piece that is someone meditating. You could just put an altar that reminds you to just pause and breathe and close your eyes and meditate while you pass by that area of your home. And that's just kind of an example, but you kind of get the picture here. And when it comes to even expressing more or enhancing more in this area, you can actually look to the Bagua map. And again, this is on my free guide. You can look at the Bagua system, the South, and it sort of breaks down in each gua how to enhance these areas. So since we are in the summer solstice, summer energy going into this June 21st, we are going to be in that fire element. So some great things to put in the South also that could enhance this area are images of people who inspire you, vibrant or mood lighting. So red hues, orange hues, like colored lighting is a great thing to put here because it really brings in that fire element. Lighting also is connected to the fire element when it comes to how we enhance things. So the colors reds or purples are also a great thing to put in this area. Any awards that you have, certifications, something that connects, again, back to your mastery. So really think about that when it comes to your space and what you're going to be bringing into your home as we move into the summer. And, because we still have a couple weeks here, whenever you listen to this, right? But because we have a couple weeks until we actually enter the summer solstice, I want you to think about how you can prepare your home for the new energies that are coming in. Because this second term, the second solar term in June, at being the summer solstice, it becomes the longest day of the year and the shortest night. And the sun is in the sky, and it's when the yang energy is right at its peak. So I want you to prepare your space for this yang energy by giving your home, like I said, and when we started, have you done your, now should be the time when you've really done some decluttering, some deep cleaning. And I always say this because it's a day. I mean, I saw a funny reel the other day on Instagram, and it was like this woman who's cleaning her kitchen, and the audio was like, no matter how many times you've cleaned your kitchen, you're gonna wake up the next day and do it again. It is a ritual. It is not something that we just do once and it's over, unfortunately. So you really got to learn to fall in love with that process. And, I kind of look at our homes like it is, or cleaning our homes like like a metaphor for life. We have to show up to our external spaces in order to reap the benefits of cleaning, right? We've got to show up and have consistency in our cleaning routines or rituals in order to feel good in our spaces. And when we neglect our space, we start to feel it. We start to feel it on the inside. So when it comes to life, when we start to neglect certain things in life, we also start to feel it on the inside, mentally, physically, and emotionally. When we start to neglect our body, we start to feel it in aches and pains, or maybe we feel stiff, or or we gain weight, or we lose weight, or when we neglect our minds and we just let our minds run forever and they buzz, and then we're forgetting that we are the masters. We can master our thoughts and reframe the way we think. Then we're kind of operating in, I always say like we're operating in that reptilian brain. So that is where fear, subconscious, all of this part of our brain that just it's like a sheep. It just follows the herd. It just goes and it goes and it goes and it goes based on all the stories, all the programming, all the things that you were taught growing up. Is that part that is running your entire life until you stop and say, hold the phone. No, that's not ruling my life right now. I am consciously going to shift this. And that's really what Feng Shui has provided me, in a sense of like really being able to look at my external environment and live more intentionally, so that when I notice something is out of place, out of order, broken, and how it's affecting my life, I can take action on it. So that's another piece of this summer energy that we need to focus on, is taking action on the things in our environment, in our space, in our home that need love and tending to. And that is going to ripple back out into how we feel, how we nourish ourselves. It's funny because now that I'm back home after 7 months of being gone, 6, 7, or 8 months, and we got married, and now we're back. It's the first time actually married, or I'm a wife in the US, which is hilarious, but we love to celebrate little things like that. And there's some things I do in our space when we have someone here while we're gone. And I like to leave my saltwater cures. And when I come back, I look at them and see kind of what they've absorbed. And then I dispose of them and I start new ones. I like to, and if you're not familiar with a saltwater cure, I should probably do like a video. I actually have a video on my Instagram on how to do a saltwater cure. But this is really important when it comes to creating good energy in your space. I put a saltwater cure in the entranceway and also some of the bedrooms, just to help cleanse the energy. Saltwater cures they act very much like a Himalayan salt lamp. So they bring in the negative ions that we really need, and they absorb all the positive ions. So over time, it's really fun. It's like a science experiment, and it crystallizes. And all of those crystals are the absorption of the positive ions that we don't want in our environment. So it's what is naturally produced in nature. Like when, you've probably heard of Sedona being a very high vortex space because there's so much negative ions that are being emitted in that environment. So with our homes, we can actually be masters of our environment in that way, where we create really good energy and ions around us that make us feel good, because that's what creates our internal space. We are a dance. Like, we dance with our environment in more ways than you realize. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your patterns, how you speak to your partner, how you speak to yourself, how you speak to your pets, all of that becomes your environment. So when it comes to this summer inspired action, all these things, kind of going back on my rant, actually, I forgot I was going to mention when I got home, the things I do with the saltwater cures. And then when we came home, the front door has been giving the person who is staying here some challenges. So we got someone to come fix it. But what I notice now, and we've kind of always had this weird wonky front door, and so we've always kind of had to be like in constant repair. We have in a very old house, and she's got lots of personality, lots of things that need attention. But when it comes to doorknobs, I mean, I went to open the door and it like won't fully open. It like gets stuck. So when it gets stuck, I turn it more and it doesn't open. And I notice, okay, what is this telling me right now? I stop and I pause. And this is what I want you guys to really listen to. When something is broken in your home, you need to stop and pause and listen. Your home is literally telling you something. And you need to let your home, that mess, be your message. You need to listen, because there's a message there. And the message that it was telling me, because doorknobs are connected to how you have a grip on life. And so as I'm grabbing it, it's not letting me actually open it up, or I'm kind of stuck outside. So my grip on life is like, I can't get a grip on life, right? And this is actually really fitting, because in all honesty, there's a lot of transitions that my husband and I, and like our whole world, and we're going through right now, whether we stay here, we move out, we move to Mexico. We're really looking at investment property, and we're just trying to figure out what direction we want to take and whether it's time to make those moves yet. So that was what was coming up for me, was as soon as I realized that doorknob is broken, that I need to fix it. Maybe that's a symbol of, I need to pay more attention. I need to sit down with this conversation. I need to really tune in and ask myself, ask my heart, what does my heart want? Which path does my heart want me to take? Because what it does is, when I'm experiencing maybe I can't get a grip on life, or just this sense of unease or uncertainty, and my home is mirroring that for me, what it's actually just telling me, or you, is that you need to listen to yourself as well. So it's not just and then once you repair the door, and once I fix the door and sit with myself and realize this is something that's important, that needs to be tended to, that's when things shift. Okay, so when I work with clients and work with students, or if you've been in a masterclass with me, or you're one of my clients, you know that this is something I really speak on. And I when we do action items, and when it's time for you to remedy or create an enhancement, fixing the things in your home that are speaking to you, or the drawers that don't open, or the broken latches, like all of that is, there's a message there. The clogged sink, backed up emotions, finances not being able to move. Water connects to communication and money flow. All the objects in your home, your mirrors, your doors, your bookshelves, your dressers, all of those are actually, they're not just things, they're not just objects. All of the objects in your home, your mirrors, your doors, your windows, your doorknobs, the sink, the faucet, the toilet, the shower, all of these things in your home are not just things. They're an extension of you. So you've got to pay attention to, look at yourself like a giant octopus that has all these arms everywhere. And that's your energy field. Your energy field is all over your home, all over your space. And when things are broken, there's a fragmented part of you that you're not paying attention to that is also feeling broken in some way. This is why it's so important to repair the things in our home. Broken items it creates that negative chi that we don't want in our space. So taking action this summer on the things that have been broken, big thing for you to focus on this summer. Okay, I think I've said it enough at this point. But as we, kind of edge into June, focus on this, like pay attention to what's really speaking to you in your space. So really wrapping up this vibe, wrapping up the month and stepping into June. Think of those words that we started this podcast with today: power, expansion, action. What can you do in your space that is going to invite that into your inner space, your external space and your inner space? Have that dance, right? So what can you enhance? Little recap. How can you enhance your South Gua, which is your fame and reputation area? We're focusing on our heart and our small intestine as we move into the summer solstice. And what action do you need to take in your home to repair the things that are broken so that you can feel whole and complete and be in harmony with yourself? Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been a lovely podcast. I hope you enjoyed, and welcome to the summer energies that are upon us. I'm very excited. Summer is a beautiful time, and it has been quite the winter for some of you, so I'm sure everyone is really excited to see that sun once again. And you get to also be the light and step into the light and let your light shine. So shine it out, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see y'all next week on the High Vibe Home podcast. Bye for now.